What's up YouTube? Today I am going to be talking about impermanent loss. I've received a number of questions and comments about it, so I'm going to do my best to explain what it is and also tell you why I think it's not actually the impermanent loss sometimes that you really need to be worried about. I get the impression that some people are more afraid of impermanent loss than they have to be. I'm going to tell you what I think you really need to be worried about and how best to manage impermanent loss risk. Before I get started, if you like my content, please do the usual, hit the like and subscribe buttons, hit the bell icon and leave a comment down below to support my channel. Also follow me on Twitter, my handle is IamJimmyRussells. You'll get exclusive updates there and also info before it hits the channel. Also stick around till the end for some bonus content. Alright, let's get started. To cut straight to the point, what I think you should really be worried about is holding too much of a shitcoin. And that really applies whether you are a liquidity provider or just holding coins in your wallet. If the value of your shitcoin tanks, then impermanent loss makes the situation worse. But really, you shouldn't have been holding that much of a shitcoin in the first place. And that's why I think that it's not really impermanent loss that you should be worried about, it's holding too much of a shitcoin. Now, it's not quite that simple, so I'm going to explain in a bit more detail. I'll start by talking about what impermanent loss actually is. So you get impermanent loss when you are a liquidity provider in an AMM pool. That could be Uniswap or PancakeSwap, wherever. You've added 50% of coin A and coin B to the liquidity pool. Now when there is a change in relative price between the two coins, say one coin moves up or down, or the prices move against each other, that is when you get impermanent loss. And the size of the price change affects how much impermanent loss you get. A massively oversimplified explanation goes like this. You've got coin A and coin B. Let's say that coin B pumps by 2x and coin A is flat. In that situation, you are making 5.7% less as a liquidity provider because of impermanent loss than if you'd have just held the coins separately in your wallet. 6% less gains isn't that bad, particularly if you are earning farming rewards, which I would have thought is the main reason that you are adding liquidity in the first place. In the opposite scenario, where you have coin A and coin B dumps by 50%, well, you still lose money. You lose 6% more though because of impermanent loss if you're a liquidity provider. And that's actually not that much worse than if you'd have just held the coins separately. That's another scenario where I think people can overrate the impermanent loss risk. Really, what you want to worry about is holding this shitcoin which dumps 50%. Okay, could you have seen that coming? Did you think it was a risky coin? Well, then you should have sized your position accordingly. Do not hold a large amount of shitty, risky coins. If you do want to hold these coins to chase high yields, then you want to actively monitor your position. You want to see if the price is moving against you, and if there is a trend, then you want to maybe withdraw your liquidity and rebalance your portfolio. Another crucial point that needs to be understood is that when you get a price movement and you withdraw liquidity, you will end up with more of these coins than you started off with and fewer of these coins than you started off with. Why does that happen? Well, it's because as the relative price of this coin increases, people are selling this cheaper coin into the pool and removing this more expensive coin out of the pool. So you end up with an abundance of these cheap coins, fewer of these expensive coins. Okay, so this is a grossly oversimplified explanation of impermanent loss. Other people do better at explaining the mechanics. I would recommend that you watch Finematic's video on impermanent loss if you really want to understand more. What I think is really useful from a trader's point of view is to simulate potential impermanent loss scenarios. By simulating potential impermanent loss scenarios, you get a much better idea of how they will impact you. Using that information, you are better able to size your positions. So I showed you earlier in the video how a 2x price difference might affect you, and I said it wasn't really all that bad. And to that you might say, well, you know, crypto is very volatile. You might easily end up in a situation where you end up with a 3 to 5x price difference. One coin could dump, the other could pump. Let's see how that kind of situation would affect us. Let's say we have token A and token B. Token A is $10, token B is $2. Token A then pumps 3x. Token B dumps 50%. We can see then that we are experiencing quite significant impermanent loss. Okay, there's a 30% impermanent loss. We are 30% worse off than just holding the coins separately because we're in the liquidity pool, right? But take a look at this. Our initial stake is 500 of token A and 500 of token B. So that's $1,000 total stake. Even in the 30% impermanent loss scenario, you've still made around 20% gains. Obviously, it's not great compared to the gains you would have got if you'd have just held the coins separately. But once again, ideally, you'd be earning farming rewards that compensate for this loss. Additionally, if you really thought that token B would dump 50%, probably shouldn't have held much of that at all. I want to hammer the point home that you should be actively monitoring your positions. If you see that token A is pumping and token B is dumping, then perhaps it would be a good idea to remove your liquidity and sell B for A. Now let's play out an even more drastic scenario where token A is flat and token B dumps 75%. Well, you can see here that your impermanent loss isn't actually all that bad. It's only 20%. And in either scenario, whether you were a liquidity provider or not, you have made significant losses. It's not so much the impermanent loss that has impacted you. Yes, it has made your situation worse. These losses mostly come from holding token B, having exposures to token B at all. The way you can manage this is, if token B looks like a risky shitcoin, don't hold so much of it. Don't farm a pool with token B, or if you are going to farm it, make sure the APY is high and make sure that you're not adding too much liquidity to that pool. And that way you can manage your risk. Let's take an even more extreme scenario and we say that token A pumps 4x, token B dumps 75%. In this case, our impermanent loss is 52%, but we haven't actually lost any of our initial liquidity because we've made gains from token A. Now, obviously, we would have been better off if we didn't add liquidity, if we'd have just held A and B separately. But you can't really predict that token A is going to do a 4x like in this example. Or if you can, then perhaps it would have been a good idea to go all in on token A to begin with. If you're actively monitoring your position, you could potentially make the decision to, again, sell B and buy A and ride that trend. That's a decision only you can make, and you have to weigh that up against the rewards you're getting from farming, weigh up the risk of, is token A going to continue moving in an upwards direction? Is B going to continue dumping? It can be very difficult to tell what exactly is going to happen. What you can know for sure is, by using tools like this, how much your liquidity will be worth given that various different scenarios play out. This is worth pointing out though, and I probably should have made a bigger deal of it. You can see that we started with 50A and 250B. Well, now that the prices have diverged massively, we end up with 1,000 units of token B and 12.5 of token A. And that's fine, you can just withdraw your liquidity and sell your B for A. But if you are in a pool with very little liquidity, this is going to screw you a little bit. By selling 1,000 units of token B, you actually move the price of token A upwards. The end result is that you don't quite get this $1,000 worth of liquidity, so do be careful of that. Okay, so that's really been my take on impermanent loss. From an explanation point of view, this guy Finematics does it way better than I could. So check out this guy's content if you're interested in the details. From a sort of risk management and approaching impermanent loss in general point of view, I hope I've shown you that it's not as scary as it sounds, and that actually maybe even the bulk of the risk comes from holding a large quantity of a shitcoin. So don't hold shitcoins. Don't farm with shitcoins. If you do have to farm with shitcoins, make sure that the APR is sufficiently high to compensate for the risk. Make sure you don't hold too much of a shitcoin so that you're overexposed. Also, you want to monitor your position. You want to watch the price on both sides of the pair and take action if you feel that it is appropriate. Remember to follow me on Twitter to get exclusive updates and info before it hits the YouTube channel. Before I leave, here's a little bonus. Yep, so I already tweeted this opportunity out, but you can make 4.4% a day farming WBNB BGov on AutoFarm. BGov is the Binance Smart Chain governance coin for BZX. I think that basically BZX are trying to cash in by launching a governance coin on a sort of alt-chain by alt-chain basis, which I don't really like long term, but I do think that you could make some money farming here. I wouldn't want to take a large position in BGov for any length of time, to be honest with you, but you might want to consider farming with a smaller amount. Make sure to monitor the price. Remember, all of this is very risky, so use your brain, people. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy farming, everyone. See you later.